Welcome to this explainer. If you think back just a incredibly short time ago, artificial intelligence was viewed by most of us as, well, purely the stuff of science fiction. It was something you saw in futuristic movies or read about in speculative novels, right? It definitely wasn't a tool you fired up before your morning coffee. But today, that reality has absolutely transformed. To put this massive shift into perspective, it took the telephone 75 years to reach 50 million users. ChatGPT? It hit 100 million users in just 2 months. We've shifted from the purely theoretical to the intensely practical, and one organization has been right at the center of this whole shebang.
Okay, let's dive into this. Our central question for today is exactly that. How did OpenAI help bring artificial intelligence out of the research labs and directly into everyday life? We're going to trace the chronological journey of this tech, looking at the initial roadblocks it faced, the breakthroughs that shattered those roadblocks, and the resulting global explosion of AI that we are all living through right now.
So, here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll be covering the early AI dream, the birth of OpenAI, the ChatGPT breakthrough, the global AI race, safety, ethics, and challenges, and finally, the future of intelligence. Section 1. The early AI dream. Before we can really grasp the modern revolution, we kind of have to slow down and reflect back on an era when AI was little more than a highly theoretical academic dream. Early research actually kicked off decades ago with a ton of high optimism, but researchers pretty quickly hit some massive walls. The industry entered these long, stagnant periods known as AI winters, where funding just completely dried up. The fact is, the raw computing power simply wasn't there in the 80s and 90s, and the vast oceans of digital data needed to actually train these models, they didn't exist yet. It was a long, quiet period of slow iteration until the underlying technology finally reached a crucial turning point. Section 2. The birth of OpenAI. So as those computing constraints finally lifted, the energy in the field totally shifted, bringing us to a pivotal year, 2015. This is the year OpenAI was founded, marking the exact moment when targeted research in the space started to rapidly accelerate. And look, this wasn't just a scrappy, small garage startup. High-profile tech leaders, including Sam Altman, Elon Musk, and Ilya Sutskever, assembled a dedicated dream team backed by a massive $1 billion pledge. They were setting the stage for a totally new era. And this brilliantly illustrates their founding mission, which was simple but incredibly ambitious: to develop AI that benefits humanity. They weren't just looking to create a fun science experiment or win some academic awards. They wanted broad, global impact. By grounding their early origins in this very specific mission, OpenAI began conducting research and pushing toward breakthroughs that were genuinely intended to change the world. Section 3. The ChatGPT breakthrough. The foundation was laid, the mission was set, and then the world experienced a massive technological tipping point. First came the development of the underlying GPT models. GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer, which is basically a raw, incredibly powerful engine of intelligence. But the real game changer? That was the release of ChatGPT. By putting a simple conversational interface on top of that complex engine, they made it universally accessible. Anyone could use it. Then came image generation, which expanded those capabilities from just text to visual creativity. The inevitable result of all this was rapid public adoption. Suddenly, seemingly overnight, millions of people had the power to write, create, code, and learn with AI every single day. Section 4. The global AI race. Now, you absolutely cannot release a breakthrough of that magnitude without triggering a massive, high-stakes corporate sprint. The moment the public appetite was proven, OpenAI suddenly found itself competing with massive tech giants. Google rapidly accelerated its own AI initiatives. Anthropic entered the fray with a heavy focus on safety-driven models. Meta open-sourced major language models, and Microsoft entered into a deeply integrated partnership with OpenAI, investing upwards of $10 billion to cement their lead. The landscape transformed instantly into a fierce, multi-billion-dollar competition. So, the crucial point is that this breakthrough triggered an unprecedented surge in global corporate investment. But listen, this wasn't just money locked away in some research and development vault. It immediately translated into worldwide enterprise adoption. Companies everywhere literally raced to integrate these AI tools into their daily operations just to survive the shift. It went from a fun consumer novelty to an essential business utility practically overnight. Section 5. Safety, ethics, and challenges.
Of course, with adoption moving at breakneck speed, there are complex, very real debates surrounding this rapid growth. What we see right now is a stark contrast. On one hand, we have incredible utility. These tools are fundamentally enhancing how people create, code, and learn on a daily basis. On the other hand, we face looming threats that are actively being debated. There are serious, ongoing challenges regarding the baseline safety of these models, ethical implications like the intense copyright lawsuits over training data, the desperate need for coherent global regulation, and very real anxieties about job displacement. It is a highly complex balancing act between maximizing unprecedented benefits and mitigating profound societal risks.
Section 6. The Future of Intelligence. As we navigate all those challenges today, we inevitably have to pivot toward the unknown. The ultimate goal for many of these organizations, and undoubtedly the most significant variable in the next decade of development, is AGI, or Artificial General Intelligence. This is the theoretical tipping point where a machine can understand, learn, and apply knowledge across a wide range of tasks at a level equal to, or perhaps even beyond, human capability. And as we move closer to that theoretical goal, the ongoing evolution of AI is positioned to fundamentally revolutionize critical global sectors. We're not just talking about software companies here. This is about your everyday life. In education, kids might soon have hyper-personalized, always-available tutors. In healthcare, AI could be discovering the specific drugs that keep you healthy or rapidly accelerating complex diagnostics. In robotics, physical machines powered by advanced neural networks will actually be capable of navigating our real world. The impact is going to be ubiquitous. Ultimately, OpenAI's biggest legacy isn't that they invented artificial intelligence. As we've seen, researchers have been at this for decades. No, their legacy is access. They figured out how to take this immense power and put it directly into the hands of millions of people. They took a wildly complex, theoretical science and handed it to the world through a simple text box, forever changing how we all work, learn, and create. Which leaves us with this final, incredibly profound question. What will the next decade of AI hold for humanity? We languished for decades in the slow, quiet winters of early AI research, only to explode from science fiction into everyday reality in just a couple of years. The exponential curve we are on right now is staggering. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning and keep your eyes on what comes next.